So, if you follow me and my journey for a little bit, you may know that if I have a problem with something, I look for ways to work with myself to change it. I can't stand staying idle and stagnant on something, and in the past, I had a hard time getting to sleep. I actually talked about this in depth on my podcast, Divine Authenticity, a while back. Now, I don't claim that energy anymore, and it's not going to be a part of my future thanks to a few things. But a big part of that is thanks to today's sponsor, Aura. Aura is a new mindfulness and sleep app that won the Best of Apple award and is used by over 7 million people. The app has thousands of meditations, stories, and so much more, like life coaching and breath work. I've tried other sleep time apps and meditations on YouTube, and those can be really hit or miss for me, but Aura has really stood out to me as super helpful. Aura has coaches, therapists, and storytellers to provide a unique experience no matter what you're looking to get. If you're looking for help sleeping, waking up to a bright and mindful day, or getting inspired, check out Aura. You can get started completely free on Aura's website by using my special link down in the description. The first 500 people get a free trial and an exclusive 25% off. Thank you so much to Aura for sponsoring today's video. All right, authentic seekers, welcome back. So for today's reading, we are going to be doing Why Did They Ghost You? This has been a reading that has been in the back of my brain for honestly a few months, and I just hadn't felt ready to create it. And I feel like it felt right. I feel like, especially with the sponsor for today's video, self-care sometimes is sitting back and analyzing and just like wondering about this kind of stuff. And, maybe even talking yourself through some stuff. So that's kind of what I want to do today, is figure out who ghosted you, and then why they ghosted you, and then why, or like what they think of you now, basically, like what is going on now. Like maybe there is reconciliation possible, or maybe there isn't. So we're going to look at that. I will just ask that you use your intuition today. So this card is going to resemble pile number 1. This card is going to resemble pile number 2. This card is going to resemble pile number 3. And just go ahead and use your intuition today. And I'm going to give you some time with these 3 cards to make a decision for about a minute or so. And then we're going to get into it, starting with pile number 1. All right, pile number 1. So these first 5 cards are meant to tell us who this person is. So this is basically meant to help confirm to you that you've chosen the right pile. And what I think is so interesting is we have Sun, Leo, and retrograde. So the reason I say this is interesting is because Leo is ruled by the sun. The sun is like the ruling astral bit that like rules over Leo specifically. So I do feel like this person could have been a Leo sun. I would say moon, rising, Mars, or Venus as well. Maybe an ascendant. So Leo in like a major placement. They could have also maybe had a Leo stellium in their charts, which is like multiple Leo placements. Maybe they were a Leo rising. We also have retrograde here, which tells me that they came into your life as a lesson, not a blessing. I say that because retrograde usually is when we're reevaluating our life. And when people come into our lives during a retrograde, this is like exes coming back, old friends coming back, people that maybe you ghosted at one time and then you like reconcile and then they decide to ghost you kind of energy. So I do feel like this person is like right off the bat, just from figuring out who they are, I'm going to be shocked if in the final 5 cards later on, if there's somebody that wants to reconcile, because I really get the energy of them being very prideful, especially with the animal here as well and the unseen. So with the unseen, I do get the sense that they might have been very manipulative. They were doing things that maybe they weren't even consciously aware of, but now that you have been apart from them, you've realized they were actually quite manipulative. And the animal coming out, I don't look at the archetype of the animal as a bad thing, but beings that we have so many other cards here that are just like the channel that is coming through about this person is not positive. This is not somebody that like was the light of your life and was a good time or a good thing. And I honestly wonder, pile number 1, if you set the intention to receive somebody that maybe you had a stronger connection with and somebody else from your past is coming through instead. Because I really get the sense that this person did not have your best interests at heart. And I think they had a lot of unhealed wounds that they were very unconscious of. When we talk about the animal archetype, this, like, everybody has a primal side, an animalistic side, a wild side, but I feel like they really let their wild nature consume them, and not in like a fun way, not in a we're gonna go like lay naked under the moonlight kind of way. They let it consume them in the sense that they were very reactionary. They were very, I don't think this person really was good for you, to be quite honest. But we're going to see why they chose to ghost you and see what the heck was going on. So the other thing I want to say is with retrograde, just pay attention if during the timeline you knew this person, if there was a retrograde going on, either during the time you met them or during the time that they ghosted. That's going to be like another key thing. And it's funny to me that we also have the unseen because, you know, when we talk about somebody ghosting us, they kind of just walk away and they snatch themselves right out of your life and they kind of become unseen. They don't want to be seen by you anymore. So it's really interesting to me that that's like one of the first cards that popped out. They also might have had blue or green eyes. I say that because look at this. Not all of these cards have eyeballs. Like the archetype cards in this deck, like let me show you. If we look at the rest of this deck, like not all the cards have eyeballs on them. But I think it's really interesting that we have 2 different eyes here. And it also makes me wonder if maybe this person had, and this might just be like a few of you, this person could have had 2 different color eyes, because that is something that can happen to people, having 2 different color eyes. But it's like, gosh, you know what this is? I feel like it's like, this gives me like the skin crawls, y'all. This is why I don't do readings like this, because when I connect with this kind of person's energy, it feels gross. Like it feels like they picked you for a reason. Like they, even if it was unconscious and it was like an unhealed part of them, they like preyed on you for a reason. They had another ulterior motive. These are like eyes that saw you before you could see them. I swear this is why I don't do readings like this, is because that energy sucks. Okay, so we have the 4 of Cups. Oof, don't like that. We have the Hermit, the 7 of Swords, the 8 of Swords, the 3 of Pentacles. Oh, this is so stupid. Sorry, this person's dumb. Listen, I don't like to make big stroke generalizations like that because I really do like to always believe the best in everybody and that everybody has a good heart. They've just been traumatized. Again, this is why I feel like I don't do these kinds of readings on my channel, because it just hits different. But What makes me so mad, I'm like mad for you. I think this person really pissed you right the hell off because they acted like your friend. With the Three of Pentacles, they swooped into your life when you were not in a good place. Friendship wise, I think this was a friend. It could have been a lover, but I think this is a friend. They swooped into your life when you were already on a friendship decline. Like you had maybe previously been through some friendship stuff, and they swooped in, maybe even unconsciously. And they saw that they could take advantage of you in this kind of situation. And the issue is that they didn't really get what they thought they were going to get out of it. They ghosted you because you had basically, for them, you were too much. And you know what you need to say to those people? There's somebody on TikTok that always talks about this. If you are too much for somebody, tell them to go find less, because you are never going to be too much for the right person. But the Seven of Swords tells me this is all rooted in betrayal. They knew from the start that if you couldn't give them what they needed or wanted, they would leave. They always had this little like disappearing act trick up their sleeve. And the Hermit tells me that they maybe even were ghosting you prior. Like they had already been taking a lot of space from you. So this wasn't necessarily a huge blind side. Like the two of you hadn't been spending a ton of time together. It had already been like petering out. And the Eight of Swords tells me that like, I'm just going to say what's coming and not judge it. That's like the hardest part of being a channel, is sometimes spirit whispers to you and you don't want to repeat the things that comes through, but you had too many mental problems for them. Like to them, you didn't feel as fun or as comfortable as they had hoped. And I need you to understand, pile number one, this is not a problem with you. They saw you having too many issues, too many fears, too many limiting beliefs. And instead of choosing to sit in the storm with you, they chose to walk away because they saw you as too complicated. And listen, I'll be real with you. Sometimes that is the reality. Sometimes you are better off without this person being in your energy all the time. Because if they, like I said, if they want less, they can go find it. There are going to be people that are going to want to sit with you in that storm, that are going to want to be with you, give you their heart, etc. Don't let this experience with this person be the reason that you don't believe that you're worthy of good friendship or good connections, because you are. It was too much for them to handle, but they already had ulterior motives. They wanted something that you had, whether it was a relationship, your career, like maybe if you're in some kind of field that they wanted to be in, they wanted something that you had. And when they realized it was more work to be your friend than to, when it was like more work to be your friend than it was to get what they wanted from you, that's why they chose to ghost. For them, it was too much. And you could say that like for some people, this could have been a very noble thing, like walking away because energetically it was too much. And I do believe that that is real sometimes. Sometimes when people ghost, it really actually, I would say every time, it has nothing to do with you and everything to do with the other person. But this doesn't mean that there's something wrong with you. Their motives from the start were gross. And this was actually spirit protecting you by making them feel some type of way. They were constantly uncomfortable because they did not have the right intentions for this friendship the way you did from the start. Your intentions were extremely pure. You wanted nothing but to help this person, to love on this person, to have fun with this person. And they ultimately decided that that was not, like, it wasn't worth it for them because you weren't giving them what they'd hoped to receive, whether it was fortune, fame, favors, some kind of adoration that you didn't give. Like, this person had you feeling like you were just never enough. And like, I just want to ask you a question, pile number one. Please leave me a lion in the comment section if this is resonating with you. I just want to ask you a question really quick, and you can please answer me in the comments. Did you feel like this person was just always making everything your fault? Because that to me is what I'm getting out of this reading is everything was always your fault. You were always the problem. It was always things that you did. You didn't love them enough. You didn't text them enough. You didn't call them enough. You didn't tell them they were pretty enough or often enough. It's like every little thing. You didn't like their Instagram post. You didn't look at their stories. You didn't watch their content that they made. Like, whatever. They made they were always so hypercritical of your role in the friendship that they ultimately ghosted because they had really unrealistic expectations. And ultimately, this is because they were deeply hurting on the inside. It genuinely has nothing to do with you. I think you actually put a really good effort forward and tried to help this person, but they did not want the help. They honestly were beyond being helped by you specifically. So that's really what I'm getting is why they ghosted. Is it just they felt like it was too much effort because you weren't giving them what they wanted. And frankly, with this kind of energy that I'm feeling, not only is it deeply upsetting and it makes me angry for you, but they're never going to be satisfied with anybody because they're very dissatisfied with themselves. And that's really what it boils down to. Now, the next few cards is the last 5 are really what they think of you now and is reconciliation possible, basically. I'm going to tell you right now, from the reason they ghosted, I would not encourage you to create reconciliation with this person. But, I believe people can change. I believe people can turn over a new leaf. So let's see. We have the Emperor, the 5 of Swords, the 10 of Wands, the Ace of Wands, the Knight of Pentacles. I'm going to tell you something right now. I think in some regard, they do think highly of you. Now, hear me out. I think that when it comes to your work ethic, they've always admired your ability to build empires, to make things in your life happen. I think that if you're somebody that even if you just have a really cool career, or maybe you have a skill or an art form of some kind that's really cool, I think that they ultimately are a little bit jealous. But here's the thing. They're jealous about work that they themselves didn't put in. And you put in the work. So I do think they highly regard you in terms of your work ethic. I think that that's never going to go away. They always kind of will look to you, even if it's privately or in secret. They're always going to look and see what you're doing. So even if you block them on Instagram, even if you block, it doesn't matter. They are the type that are going to go and make a fake account just to see what you're doing. So just know they're always watching. This person isn't going away, even if it seems like they have. But they really see themselves as the victim in this situation. And I say that because we have the 5 of Swords here, which is victim mentality. They see you as the bad guy. They see you, even though they were the ones that left, they see you as the issue. They see you as the problem. And they think that you're in your career also for the wrong reason, that you work too hard and that you never rest. Which is if you're somebody that your career means a lot to you, don't talk to people like that. It's not worth it. Ace of Wands though, Knight of Pentacles, these are the few cards that I feel are a little more positive. It's they do see you as somebody that is a visionary. They do see you as somebody that is able to quote unquote secure the bag. They see you as somebody that generates wealth. And whether you do or not, that's how they see you. But ultimately, they think that they are the victim in this situation with that 5 of Swords. I would not consider reconciliation with this person, not in this lifetime. Like this, at least where the energy is right now, it does not look good. I feel like they would still try to use you for the same things. And honestly, something I want to also say to you, pile number one, if you ever decide for whatever reason to sit down and talk to this person, if like they ever come back around, ask yourself when you're with them how you feel in your body, because your body is never going to lie to you. And if in their presence you feel deeply uncomfortable, unseated, afraid, scared, whatever it is, you need to take that as a signal, as a red flag. Like your body knows. And sometimes I think we forget that in today's world, especially with psychology being so cerebral right now. Your body knows. And even if you can't put your finger on why you feel uncomfortable, there is something like this person's energy is just not for you. And I think it's something that you maybe have dealt with many times before. And so it feels comfortable. It feels familiar. So you keep going back to it. But ultimately, that is the lesson here to be learned, is that you deserve better. This person is not good for you. You know they're not good for you. Don't let them, do not be a doormat for them. Do not allow this person to come back. Even if they believe some positive things about you, they still see themselves as a victim, even though they were the ones that left without a word. So that's what I have for you. I feel like this reading was harsh. I knew when I started doing these readings that it was going to be like this, but ultimately don't go back. Don't go back. It's not worth it. I think there was more that met the eye in this situation. Clearly we have the eyeballs here. And I think it will also never be the same again. After this time, the trust has been so broken that even if you were able to have a civil conversation, it will never be what it used to be. Even if you had some laughs, you had some good times, it will never be what it used to be. And that is what I have for you. So thank you so much to Aura for sponsoring today's video. Please be sure to check them out down below. If you would like to support me, please consider checking out my Patreon. I put out weekly energy updates, Patreon exclusive readings, lifestyle content, and so much more. I love my Patreon. Y'all are the best. So definitely check it out if you would like to support me. I also have my podcast, Divine Authenticity, available to you, where we're really on like the hot girl, hot guy, hot person trend, but we're bringing in the psychological and spiritual aspect as well. So if you want to listen to that, new episodes every single Monday available to you. Links down below, available on Apple, Spotify, everywhere you listen to podcasts. And if you would like to support me even further, it is never an expectation, but always appreciated. I have my Cashapp, Venmo, PayPal, and wish list available to you down below. I always accept tips for my readings. And if you want to follow me on socials, I'm at Kloee Taylor everywhere around the web. And I will talk to you in the next one. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please do not forget, when you stand in your own authenticity, you empower everyone around you to do the same. Bye. All right, pile number 2. So something really weird happened before I sat down to do this. I had like laid these cards out, but this is very specific and I'm not going to question it because that's how channeling works. You don't question. This person that ghosted took your cat. This might be like just one person that's here. And please comment down below if this is you. This person literally, like, you shared a cat, or maybe it was your cat. Like, they took your cat and they ghosted. I also want to say that this might be you. Like, you might be the person who ghosted. I don't know why. Like, that was not the intention I set with this reading. And like, maybe they just were not good with their cat, so you got to have the cat, or they took your cat. Like, there was something about a cat. I heard cat meowing, and I do have 3 cats in my house, and I checked on them. They were all dead asleep. There was definitely an animal involved in this ghosting, though. So, really weird. I also think that y'all shared a life, meaning either you shared a house, because we have the sustainer and the sixth house of stability. You shared a house with this person. Now, this reading is still going to be about them, but you, I feel like, are coming through a little bit in this possibly. So either you or them is a Scorpio, a Scorpio, or you also could be a Virgo with the sixth house. Uranus also could be an Aquarius. So just know that like this could be them, this could be you. This is just confirmation that this is your pile. I do believe you shared a house. We also, or like, it might not be like a house. It could be like an apartment, a studio. Just you shared something that you lived in together. With the heart, some of you, this was somebody you had a romantic relationship with, but they were somebody that you were close to. So, and they like they had a special place. Oh my gosh, I'm burping so much in this reading. Burping is like energy moving through you. So I just keep, so I'm sorry if I'm pausing a lot. It's because I'm burping a lot. I feel like this person is somebody that potentially it was romantic, potentially it was platonic, but they were somebody that was really close to your heart. You really cared for this person. You had a home and a life together. And they, like I said, them or you, sun, moon, rising, Venus or Mars, Scorpio, Virgo, Aquarius. Those are the signs that are coming through because Uranus is the ruler of Aquarius. The sixth house is ruled by Virgo and Scorpio came through on its own. So, oh, also look, we have master number 44. 44 might be like a lucky number for you just to help confirm that this is your pile. But this is somebody that they might have been really intense. Like both of you could also be Scorpios, I'm hearing. I get the sense that this relationship was intense very quickly, but it was here to teach you something about friendship and change because Uranus rules Aquarius, Aquarius rules the house of friendship, and Uranus for some reason is like a very strong dominant part of this reading. I am noticing that I'm constantly drawn to this card over the others. So that's just kind of to help like clarify who this is. Now, why did they ghost you? We have the Six of Crystals. We have the Wheel of Fortune, the Seven of Wands, the Page of Wands, the Sun. Listen, I'm going to be very honest with you, honey bunny. I don't know why I just called you that. Maybe that's a nickname that came from that person. I've never called my own significant other honey bunny once in my life. Bunnies are maybe significant to you, but this was a karmic relationship. This relationship was not meant to work, like ever. This relationship was only meant to ever be a teacher. They learned things and you learned things. And this ghosting was actually a blessing. I say that because I see the sun is present, and the sun is always a gift or a blessing or something joyous or joyful. I actually think when this person left your life, you felt better because it was karmic. Like you had things to learn from the other person. And basically, if you don't know anything about karmic relationships, I am not the expert, that is for sure. I am not an expert on karmic relationships. But the thing I can tell you is that the one thing that resonates with me, and maybe this will resonate with you, is basically in like quote unquote pre-existence, before you incarnated on earth, the two of you might have even been friends or something of that nature. You might have been close, but you had karma to fulfill in this lifetime, and they also did too. And you were like, oh, I'll help you with this karma, and you help me with mine, and you enter a karmic contract. and you incarnate to fulfill this. It's part of your like destiny is to fulfill this karma. So it could have been that in the life prior to that, maybe you experienced a certain kind of friendship or you acted in a certain way that really wasn't, it didn't teach you the lesson that you needed to learn. So you had to do it in this lifetime. I feel like I don't get a lot of karmic connection readings. So that's really interesting that that would come through. Now, the other cards here, the Page of Wands, Six of Crystals, Seven of Wands. This is like, they ghosted, honestly, because they had too much on their plate. I don't even think this ended in like flames. Like this wasn't, it's going to be forever. It's going to go down in flames. I actually think that this ended possibly not as hard as it could have, because they just had their hands on too many things. They were doing too much and they did not have time for the kind of relationship that you wanted. They might have been somebody that loved to travel a lot with the Six of Crystals. They might have been just kind of everywhere. They were a very like free-spirited person. And Page of Wands, they were really in pursuit of their own vision. I honestly don't really get the sense that this, kind of like with pile number one, this really had nothing to do with you. Like you didn't do anything bad to deserve the way that maybe even they treated you in the relationship. It wasn't about that. They literally just had so much going on that I think they actually maybe felt slighted by you, because they were dealing with so much, but it was like problems of their own making. And you walking away was just like part of that, part of them having to understand that they were running their life in a way that was really not in congruence with what their destiny had planned for them. So like you actually were somebody that was valuable to them, because like, I hate to like say it this way because I feel like it kind of sounds very like big-headed, but I don't mean it that way. You kind of were a lesson bringer for them. And they ghosted because I feel like they couldn't really handle the heat. They couldn't handle the authenticity. They couldn't handle the true essence of you. And it was uncomfortable for them. It was like you were so bright that they were like, whoa, I've never met somebody that's so like open and willing to communicate. It scared them. And it was very different from what they were used to. Page of Wands also tells me again that they were really in pursuit of their own vitality, their own creativity, their own pursuits. I honestly, again, think that them ghosting was a blessing, because they really were never going to give you the kind of relationship that you wanted. Whether it was romantic or platonic, they were never going to be as invested in you as you were in them. And Spirit honestly really saved you with this one. Now, what do they think of you now? We have Seven of Stars. And apologies if you can't see these cards very well. It's probably how I have my lights positioned right now. They're not shining or reflecting off the cards very well. But trust me, these cards are gorgeous. We have the Lovers, the Tower, Ace of Wands, the Fool. Oh, that's mean. I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing because I'm uncomfortable. And I feel like I always have to say that when I laugh in a reading when it's like not appropriate, because I'm a Gemini moon. And if any of my other Gemini moons out there, we laugh at the most inappropriate motherfucking times. Like, I will laugh at a funeral because I can't help it. Like, I'm not, it's serious. And I feel like Gemini moons, we just like don't know how to act. I'm also an Aries Mercury, and that's a problem too. So I'm laughing because it's uncomfortable, not because this is something that's funny. It's not funny. I'm just going to be real with you. They think you're a total baby. Like, the Ace of Wands and the Fool coming out together tells me that they do. They think you're a fool. They think you're a baby. They think that they're above you. And gross, number one. I do feel like if you did things for them that were like of skill, that like ever helped them, they definitely kind of regret not having you in their life anymore. Like, they didn't realize how much you did until you weren't there anymore. The Lovers tells me that they're not in a place where they are ready to accept the shadow work that it would take to actually be in a relationship or in a friendship or partnership with someone like you. And the Tower, honestly, I don't think they're well. Like, I do not think this person is well. I think that their foundation is constantly crumbling and they have not figured out why it keeps happening. And I honestly don't think they think very much about you. They're too consumed with their own shits. But when they do think about you, I feel like they genuinely see you as somebody that is really immature, that constantly is like starting things but not finishing things. I feel like they're someone that really goes after things in their life. And that's not like, it doesn't mean that if you go slow, you're behind. But I do feel like they think that you are like, you don't take the initiative, like you don't get beyond the beginning. And whether that's true or not doesn't matter. That's what they think. What else can I tell you about this? I mean, I do feel like with the Lovers coming out that reconciliation could be possible because I do think that they like, it would take shadow integration on both of your parts, to be honest. Like, there are parts of you that reflect this person that you're really uncomfortable with. And there are also parts of them that reflect you that they're uncomfortable with. And again, it brings us kind of back to that karmic point, right? It's funny too, because this card came out over the Wheel of Fortune, which is karma. So I do feel like it would take a lot more like shadow integration to get there. Honestly, now is not the time. If you were ever considering whether this person, like if they're ready right now, they are not. If you decided to interject into this person's life, I could see it being fulfilling for a minute with the Lovers, but the Tower tells me that it's just going to be destructive again. Like, you're not, neither of you are in the place for it. And the Seven of Stars also tells me that I feel like they are trying to, actually, no, I don't think this is even them. I think this is you. You're actually trying to like water your own shit right now. And you do not need to be invested in this person. Like, you're doing good on your own, watering things, planting things, watching things grow. Don't even like pay mind to this person. I know that it hurts and maybe this was a really big part of your life, but nothing but destruction at this time with the current energy that I'm seeing is going to come out of this. So it's not worth it. Honestly, keep focusing on you. Keep focusing on you. I almost want to pull a few extra cards for you, pile number 2. I think I'm going to. I didn't do this for pile number 1. Sorry for leaning away from the microphone, but I just feel really called to, because I just feel like this reading just kind of ended very dissatisfactory. I just want to pull a few cards just for you. Like, without this person, where are you headed? Like, just because I get the sense that this person really was important to you, and maybe this is not, like, it just seems like there's more. There's more that needs to be told here. I'm just shuffling the deck. Okay. Spirit, can you just tell us what 5 of Crystals, Queen of Stars, Knight of Wands. Listen. You're on a journey right now, pile number 2, where you're overcoming victim mentality. You're overcoming feeling like the world is your problem for the fixing. You're overcoming this like stuckness, this just being afraid to like move forward at all, or like, again, being the victim, which I'm the first person to tell you. You have to be the victim before you can be the hero, okay? Like, being the victim is normal. It's a part of the human experience. It's a part of the archetypal journey of the soul. So don't beat yourself up if you've been there, but you're actually building a strong foundation for yourself right now. You might even be building a business. You're building stability for yourself right now. You don't need to concern yourself with this. And Knight of Wands tells me, like, just focus on your creative pursuits. Don't Like, even coming to this reading and being worried about this person, Spirit is saying literally do not pay this person any mind. They are not somebody that is in the cards for your future right now. And it's way more important that you put your energy into things that matter more to you. And I didn't do this reading at the end of pile number 1 because this reading felt incomplete. Like Spirit had more to say to you. So just keep focusing on you. Don't worry about this. This person is like, listen, this is not from Spirit. This part right that I'm about to say is just from Kloee Taylor to you specifically. You haven't even met every person that is going to love you in this lifetime yet. You don't need to worry about this one person. You learned what you needed to learn from the experience, and any thought of rekindling, reconnecting is not looking good. Like, just focus on you, focus on building out, and you'll find your community again. You'll find your person, your love again. You'll find that friend again. But it's not going to, I really don't get the sense that it's going to be in this person. So just focus on you. Keep moving forward. You've got this. And that is what I have for you, pile number 2. Thank you so much again to Aura for sponsoring today's video. Please don't forget to check them out in the description box down below. If you would like to support me further, please do not hesitate to check out my Patreon. I put out weekly energy updates. I also put out extra readings that you can't get here on YouTube, as well as lifestyle content here and there. And it's a good time. We have a lot of fun on the Patreon, and it is really a great way to support the work that I do here if you're wanting to or have the means to do so. The other thing I always want to mention is my podcast, Divine Authenticity. New episodes every single Monday morning, 4:44 a.m. Pacific. We are really currently into that lucky girl syndrome, hot girl, hot guy, hot person energy, and taking the psychological and spiritual approach. So definitely check out the podcast if you haven't. It's available on Apple, on Spotify, and everywhere you listen to podcasts. Links are down below, of course. And if you would like to support me further, it is never an expectation, but always appreciated. I have my Cashapp, Venmo, PayPal, and wish list down below for you. Again, I don't expect those things, but they are certainly always appreciated. And my socials, of course, I'm at Kloee Taylor everywhere around the web. So thank you again so much for listening. And please do not forget, when you stand in your own authenticity, you empower everyone around you to do the same. And I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye. All right, pile number 3. So your person, why or who ghosted you rather? We'll get into the why and then what they think of you now in a little bit. But first and foremost, to know if this is your right pile, we have the 12th house, Aquarius, and Taurus. So I'm saying Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, and Mars, or possibly the Ascendant, could be Taurus, Aquarius, or Pisces, because the 12th house is ruled by Pisces. So that is like telltale sign number 1. The other thing is we have the Siren, and we also have the Mystic here. And so I feel like this person had a very alluring or intoxicating presence. Not toxic, but intoxicating. You might have felt very, 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 very drawn to them immediately. I'm actually really getting that this person was a healer or a mentor to you in some way. And they just like dropped off the face of the earth at one point. And you know what's funny about that is there's actually a saying that says, like, when the student is ready, the teacher appears. But really, when the student is ready, the teacher disappears because you don't need them anymore. And I just feel like that quote might really be specific to this reading. So just keep that in mind. If you feel like a mentor like ghosted you, it might have been we'll find out why, but it also could be that. I also say that because Aquarius, with the imagery here, we have this like jug pouring into a cup being held by someone else. And I just feel like This could be somebody that was really pouring into you a lot. I also see the chakra system here with the 12th house, right? We have the chakras all lined up here. And what this says to me is like maybe they really were somebody that was in the healing arts because, working with chakras, balancing chakras, that's very healing nature. I would also say, I don't necessarily think Tauruses are natural healers. I don't think if you're an earth sign, you're a healer. I think that's a little too far-fetched, but I do feel like Taurus does bring with it this like regal energy. So this could be somebody like, especially with the siren coming up, it could have been very like regal, alluring, beautiful. This person could have been just like very beautiful or pleasing to the eye. And with the mystic, this tells me that they were more of a healer. They dealt more in the healing arts. Now, why did they ghost? Let's find out. We have the reverse tower. I already know what that means. I'll tell you in a second when we lay out the cards. The 10 of Cups, the Emperor reversed, Justice, and the Devil reversed. I'm going to be very honest with you, pile number 3. They didn't like your spouse. I'm sorry if that's hard to hear. I do feel like there is potential that this person, whether they identify as male or not, I feel like your significant other, your partner, maybe it was somebody you spent a lot of time with. They represent the masculine element in your life. And again, that doesn't mean that they are male. They could be female, they could identify as non-binary, but they tend to really move with their masculine. And like, if I could kind of explain this to you a little bit, if you've never heard this, I believe in my relationship with my own husband that I kind of bring a lot of the masculine energy and he actually brings more feminine in the relationship. Like it just, even though Kloee Taylor identifies as a cis female, I bring masculine energy in the relationship. And at least at this point in time, which those energies can shift at any time. But whoever this person is, whether they identify as male or not, I do get the sense that they were living in like this wounded masculine state. And the reason I say that, I think they didn't like your family, your partner, something about the people you choose to surround yourself with. They just got like bad energy from them. And maybe you've noticed it too. It doesn't mean that they're bad for you. It could honestly be that this person had like a past life connection with them. And so they sensed that shit and they were like, oh no, I'm sorry, but I can't, I have to go. So there is something here about that. And the reason I'm saying that is because we have the Emperor reversed and the Devil reversed and the 10 of Cups upright. So the 10 of Cups is like family, your partner, your like the people you surround yourself with. The Emperor reversed is the masculine reverse, like toxic masculinity almost. And the Devil is being chained or stuck with somebody because you feel like you have to be with them. If it's not your partner, it's their partner. Like somebody in their life that is like told them not to spend time around you. I actually don't think it was them like just not liking you. I think it had more to do with outside influences and an imbalance of this masculine energy, because we also have the balance scale showing up here, which to me signifies an imbalance. And the Tower showing up here. Oh my gosh, I hate it. Spirit. I hate it when you give me messages like this. I'm sorry, y'all. This reading I feel like has been just way more intense than any. This is why I don't do a lot of relationship readings on my channel. If I'm being totally honest with y'all, it's because sometimes I get messages that make me uncomfortable. And the message that I'm also getting is like, listen, this might just be for like someone here, one person. It could be for a few of you. I don't know. I'm just telling you, don't shoot the messenger. I'm just telling you what I'm getting from spirits. And that is, they were also attracted to your partner and your partner was attracted to them. So like they didn't want to be the person that came in and was a home wrecker. So they were like, nah, I got to get out of here. Like there's too much attraction. I'm not going to break this home apart. It's better to just remove myself. That's definitely the energy that's coming through, especially with the reverse tower. And I'm not like, I'm not trying to put my shit on you. It's that I hate getting messages like this because I feel the pain of that choice and it hurts. So this is why I don't do relationship readings, y'all. This is why I tend to shy away from them. It's more than just those messages don't come to me. It's that they do, and they're actually very strong. And sometimes I have to be the person that like tells people bad news, and I hate that feeling. But I also believe that like life is not all meant to be love and light. And I'm saying that more for myself than for any of y'all. But there is definitely, this person ghosted for your benefit. Like they removed themselves because it was like there was going to be a situation that they saw coming that was going to be bad. Like, and I do feel like it had to do with like infidelity. I do feel like it had to do with partnerships, marriage, relationships. Like I said, I feel like I just explained like 3 different scenarios to you that this could have been. But ultimately there was something like this person either didn't want to be the homewrecker, they didn't like your significant other, or they really liked your significant other. There were only two like points to that. The last message that I'm getting as to why they ghosted is that they also felt like you weren't really willing to put in the work. You weren't willing to put in the work to actually change where you are. Like them being in the healing arts and wanting to help you, I think you were like, they felt like you were really tied to this like picture perfect-esque family or like picture perfect life. And they could see all the holes in it. They could see all the problems that you weren't willing to address. And they were like, I cannot, like, basically you weren't willing to throw like an upset in your life that really would have shaken it down to the core, which you are in your full right to make that kind of decision. But that was a hindrance to them. They felt like they couldn't actually take you as far as you wanted to go, and they couldn't help you the way you wanted to be helped if you weren't willing to see what was right in front of you. So they decided to ghost because it was honestly too much for them. Like dealing with the issues that came to the surface for you, they couldn't hold it. They couldn't hold the space. And so honestly, I wonder if this was also like possibly like a therapist that like ghosted you or like quit on you. I know that that's like a lot. And please note that I just for like legal reasons, I'm not a therapist. Please do not take my advice like therapy. If you do, you're using my readings wrong. I am not to be held accountable for that. I'm not a licensed therapist. This is for entertainment purposes only. But there's definitely an energy of like a healer feeling like they could genuinely not help you for whatever reason. And it has something to do with your family and like your choice in relationship, I feel like. Now, what do they think of you now? Or is reconciliation possible? We have the Page of Wands, Judgment, 10 of Pentacles reversed, King of Cups, Ace of Wands reversed. Aw. This person doesn't even think poorly of you, like at all. I think they genuinely have such love for you. They don't think poorly of you at all. If you were wondering about that, they don't. Even if the top half of this reading didn't really match your situation, the person that you came to this reading questioning about, they actually don't have ill feelings towards you. I think they genuinely wanted to help you. I do think reconciliation is possible if you get out of the situation that you're in. Because if it was like they had a flame for like somebody in your life, I think that flame has truly died. You don't need to worry about that. 10 of Pentacles being reversed tells me that, like, especially if this has to do with like family or lineage, basically if you're ever ready to make that kind of decision, they'll welcome you back with open arms. Especially with the King of Cups, they are coming from a very mature emotional place, and they would be willing to reconcile if you wanted it. But it wouldn't be without change. Change would have to happen. I do feel like they genuinely want to help. They have such love for you. It actually really hurt them to walk away. The Page of Wands tells me that I feel like they still think that you will. Even though they were the one to walk away, I think they genuinely have still held this energy, like believing that you will come back around, which is interesting. But yeah, they don't think poorly of you. They actually have so much love for you. They do want to continue to help you in your situation. I think they actually think about you a lot. They wonder what you're like now, what you do now, what your situation is like. I think they hoped that with them leaving, it would actually increase the likelihood that you would be willing to make a different decision. It was genuinely hard for them to walk away from this. Interesting. I did not expect that. Like, I kind of previewed these cards, just these 5, before I started. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. We'll see what that means as we go, as like we channel. And I did not expect that kind of outcome. But in any case, that's all I have for you, pile number 3. So thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much to Aura for sponsoring today's video. Please make sure you check them out down below in the description box. And if you would like to support me as a creator, of course, I have my Patreon available to you, where I do weekly energy readings, extra pick of cards that you can't get anywhere else, and lifestyle content and so much more. I would love to have you over there. It really does help support me as a creator. I also have my podcast, Divine Authenticity, available to you on any platform that you can get a podcast, Spotify, Apple, and literally so much more. I put out new episodes every Monday. We are really currently into like getting back into your goals and getting back into like motivation and self-care and things like that from the psychological and spiritual perspective. And like I said, that comes out every Monday. I would love to have you tune in. Links for that are down below. If you would like to support me further, of course, watching is more than enough, but if you would like to and you have the means to, I will always graciously accept. I do accept tips for my readings. I have my Cashapp, Venmo, PayPal, and my wish list available to you down below. And you can also follow me on socials. I'm at Kloee Taylor everywhere. And please do not forget, when you stand in your own authenticity, you empower everyone around you to do the same. And I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye.